So when it comes to getting approved for home support services, it really is a two-phased approach. Phase one, it's all about understanding your current challenges and the types of services that are available that can solve those challenges. Once you get that understanding and you know the types of support services you need, the next thing is about knowing how much funding you need to pay for those items. And that's the purpose of this video. So let's say that the types of services that you need are, the most common ones are some domestic assistance, some transportation to get to doctor's appointments, gardening services, maybe some meal delivery, and let's just say like a mobility scooter, all right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to write those things down. Once you know the types of things that you need, then you need to think about, well, how often do I need these services? Okay, let's start with domestic assistance. Let's say you wanted somebody to come to your home once a week for a 2-hour period. The average going rate for domestic assistance in Australia these days, and it will vary in different parts of Australia, but it's typically ranging between $65 and $75 an hour, right? Let's say for calculation purposes, it's $70 an hour. So I'm going to write that down. $70 times 2 hours, okay, equals $140 per week. The next one, transportation. Now this might be to get to the shops, to get to doctor's appointments, to run errands. Let's say it is a support worker that is coming to your door, assisting you into the car, driving you to the location, dropping you at the door of the place where you need to go so you didn't have to go and park and whatnot, and doing all that and waiting around for you to do your appointment and then driving you home as well. Let's say it's a 2-hour round trip and you need it, we'll say once a fortnight, okay? Again, you're going to do this exercise. You pull out an A4 piece of paper, do this exercise for yourself, and this is for general budgeting purposes. So it doesn't need to be exact. It's just designed to give you a ballpark of roughly how much money you need on a yearly basis, okay? Hey there, if you're finding value in these videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button just below. That way you'll be notified as soon as I release our next video on navigating the aged care system. Let's get back to this one. So let's just say $70 times 2 hours, and this is going to be on a fortnightly basis. So that's going to equal $140 per fortnight. So the next thing we've got is the gardening service. Let's say that you wanted a gardener. It's going to cost $120 for the visit, hypothetically, and that gardener is going to tidy up the lawns, cut the grass, and do those little jobs for you. And you want that person on a monthly basis. In the summer, you might get a little bit more frequently. In the winter, you might spread it out to once every 3 months. But throughout the year, let's say it's $120 for one visit per month, okay? So we're going to say $120 per month. Meal delivery. You can buy pre-made meals from a bunch of different companies. The average meal cost of these meal delivery services, it can range somewhere between $10 and $15 per meal. Let's say $12 per meal for the sake of budgeting. And you just say, let's just say for simple calculation purposes, you just want to have one dinner every night. So that's 7 dinners, 7 meals at $12 a meal equals 7 times 12 is $84 per week. Finally, the scooter. Mobility aids, they range in price, right? You can get cheap scooters to the more higher end non-powered scooters I'm talking about now, those walkers, I should say, $400, $500, $600, right? Let's just say, again, for calculation purposes, it's $500 for the scooter. These types of devices, when you're using a government-funded home care package to pay for them, you can't just go out there and buy them. They need to be approved by a qualified healthcare professional. That's commonly an occupational therapist that will write a report to say, yes, I concur that you need this type of device and this is what my recommendation is. That report will also cost some money. That can range depending on the complexity of your situation and whether they need to come to your home and whatnot. But let's just say that report costs $250. Might be more, might be less, but for the sake of the exercise, I'm just putting a number to it of $250. So you add the $250 to the actual cost of the device, which was $500, and now we're talking $750. Once you've got what the costings are, we need to work out how much money you will need in that first year to pay for all these things. So let's do the math on that. The domestic assistance, $140 a week. That works out as $7,280 for the year, $3,640 for the year. Then we've got the gardening, $1,440 for the year. Then we've got the meal delivery, $4,368 for the year. And then we've got the scooter, which is $750 for that year. And the final number that you get is $17,478. Now, you may be looking at this and be quite surprised with what that total number comes in at. $17,000 seems like a lot of money. But the reality is that is the cost of labour hire in Australia. And that being the case, you want to make sure that when you're going through the assessment process, you have done this exercise and you have a good understanding of roughly how much money you will need on a yearly basis to access the types of services that you need to maintain your independence and enable you to live the life that you want to live. Now that we know roughly how much money we'll need, how do we know what level funding, what level home care package we need to make sure we are getting approved for to make sure we've got enough money? So there are 4 levels of home care packages in Australia. And the only difference between those 4 levels is the amount of money that the government will give you. So on a level 1, the government provides about $10,000 per year. It's a little bit more than that. On a level 2 home care package, $18,000 per year. On a level 3, $39,000 per year, just a bit over actually. And a level 4 home care package is a bit over $58,000 per year. It might have gone up a little bit more than that, but thereabouts. Based on that previous example that we did, we needed a bit over $17,000 per year. So if you went through the process of having an aged care assessment and then you waited a few weeks for the letter to come to tell you what you're approved for, and you see there's a level 1, approved for a level 1 home care package, so that's this bracket here. Well, this bracket is capped at $10,000, but you need $17,000. So the reality is you would only have about half the amount of money, a bit over half the amount of money that you actually need. So that is not enough funding for you. If you go to the next bracket, we're at a level 2 home care package, and you needed about a bit over $17,000. So that package there would squeeze you in with enough funding to pay for the budgetary services that you need. Now, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I do a budget, if I'm just doing it kind of like back of the envelope sort of stuff, I'm always forgetting things and I'm always underquoting as well. So there are always hidden expenses that I didn't account for that blow out my budget, right? So if that's the case, be aware that you've probably forgotten something on your thing and there really isn't much of a contingency if you're cutting it that fine. I hope this is making a lot of sense and is useful. The takeaway message from this point is make sure you have an indication of how much funding you actually need in order to know which home care package level you need to get approved for. If you're finding any of this overly complex or stressful, that's absolutely fine and is totally normal. At Village Local, we do run what we call the CarePath Navigator program. It's a totally free service. You can enroll yourself in it. It's broken up into really understand educational modules where you can go through them at your own pace. There's information worksheets that you can read if that's what your preference is as well. But there's also a community of people that you can post questions to. And these are people, older Australians just like yourself, who may already be approved for their home care package and are an absolute wealth of knowledge and would be more than happy to answer your questions. So if you'd like to get access to the free CarePath Navigator program, I'll also put a link to that in the description. You can click that link, you can fill out the enrollment, and you'll be able to access that as well. Hope that was useful. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.